morning, Mrs. Tracy. I'm Dave with Air Care.
Hi, good morning. Why don't you come on in?
Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Tracy, I'd like to go through the list of services that I will be performing today.
Okay.
First thing is I'll be cleaning the air conditioning unit. I'll be accessing the evaporative coil. Then also be taking down each one of the registers and going through and cleaning the registers. And then at the very end, I'll be sanitizing the air ducts as well.
Okay.
And then we'd also talked about cleaning the condenser unit on the side of the house.
Right.
That will be cleaned. And then I'll also be installing a UV light inside the air handler.
All right, sounds good.
And as well as the other services offered, I'll be cleaning the dryer duct as well.
Oh, wonderful.
This is the UV Max 25 ultraviolet light purifying system that I will be installing today. This unit installs inside your air handling unit right above the coil. I will be installing the cool wrap. This goes right around your condenser outside. It keeps all the leaves and debris from getting inside the condenser. One of the cleaning products that we offer is the Ultra Odor Kill. This is a odor killing solution that you spray directly onto the filter. Another one of the cleaning products that we offer is the CEF. This is an electrostatic air filter cleaner. Spray it directly onto your air filter and flush it with water. What we've also done, we've created a service checklist for our techs. Before you start each job, what you want to do is make notes of the settings on the thermostats. You're going to want to shut the thermostats off. You're going to want to cut power at the power breaker. You're going to also make the checklist that you've covered the furniture. Make sure you take a walk around the house with the customer and make sure you check for any damages to the walls, any obvious signs of damage. And that way you get the customer to sign off on that so that you've inspected the work areas. We'll need to move the couch out of the way.
Okay.
We'll be very careful. I'm going to be laying some sheets down as well.
Wonderful. Sounds good.
And it's important to remember, always place sheets underneath your ladder when you're setting up. So when you're removing the grills, you want to get your utility knife, take out your screws. Make sure you keep pressure on the grill so it doesn't fall. And score around the grill to remove any paint or any caulking that may be holding the register on. Once you remove the register, you want to take your Sharpie. You want to mark the location of the register and also the position of the register. You want to put everything up exactly the way you take it down. So take my Sharpie, I'll make a mark on the register, and I'll also come back here in the pan and make that same mark up there. Once you remove the register, it's very important that you vacuum the first 2 feet of the duct. That way it'll keep all of the debris and all the dirt from spreading all over the floor and on the furniture. So what you'll do is you'll take your upholstery brush, get up into the duct, and just vacuum out the first couple of feet of the duct, and then also the box as well. And if you're doing negative air, what you're going to want to do after you vacuum the first couple of feet, take your foam plug and install the foam plug. So for the register cleaning, once you've taken all your registers down, before you start, take them all down, bring them outside, set them down in the driveway, get your everything cleaner. Got your hose, give it a good soak with the everything cleaner. Come back through with your hose. Of course, if the register is really caked on with dirt, what you want to use a more steady stream on the hose or a little bit more cleaner. You want to get all up inside the register to get all those nooks and crannies in there. Get them all nice and clean. Sunny day, you want to keep them out in the sun. Typically, this is the best thing to do before you start your duct cleaning. That way, when you're all done, you come back out, your registers are all nice and dry. Go back in and reinstall them. A good rule of thumb when you're setting up your pogo pole is to leave the plate on the ground, gently lift the pole up to the ceiling right before the ceiling. So that's the length you're going to need to set it up. So then raise the pole, the hole that you kept your finger on, that's where you're going to be inserting the pin. Lock the pin in place. Once your pin is locked in place, make sure you have both hands on the pogo pole. Gently lift it up to the ceiling. Lock in your pole, it's spring loaded, so you want to make sure it's straight up and down, but taut up against the ceiling, so it's not going to move anywhere. You don't want that thing sliding out of place. Then once your pogo plate is in place, you're going to take your Mylar, get your machine a little bit closer, and that's you're all set for that part of it. During the negative air cleaning process, the air system must be off. Hooking up power to the machine, get your extension cord, plug in your power, the front of the machine. Then you want to find a separate 20 amp circuit to plug the power into. Let's look at the differences between the Sidewinder and the Air Whisk. A couple of different uses for these hoses. The Air Whisk has a stiffener that runs for the full length of the hose. Works ideal for exhaust ducts and dryer ducts. 125 psi or less. Sidewinder, 175 psi or more. The stiffener, 3 feet of it has the stiffener in it. Great for extended runs. The way the Sidewinder is designed, it's designed for compressors that are at 175 psi or more. Got the valve, and then you got your ball. The first 3 feet has a stiffener in it. On this particular application, you're going to want to send the debris back to the machine, so you'll have the ball with the reverse ball. Got the holes on the bottom of the ball. So have the valve in your hand, insert into the hole, turn on your ball valve. And as you go through, just kind of push and pull it, turn it back and forth to the left and the right to allow the ball to go on all sides of the duct. Going through. And as you're coming back through, turn off the ball valve. And that's it. In negative air cleaning, the important part of creating as much suction as that machine can handle is blocking everything else off with these foam plugs. In doing so, we're going to go through the Air Whisk method of pushing all that dirt back towards the machine. So what you're going to want to do is remove your foam plug. Take your Air Whisk. You're going to need your forward ball, a ball with the holes in the front. That's going to push all of that dirt back towards the machine. Get your air hose started. And as you're going through, you're going to want to use the push-pull method. You don't want to go too fast. You just want to go a little bit at a time, making sure you're loosening up all of that dirt and pushing it all back towards that machine. So another extraction method for getting the dirt out of the ducts while you're doing negative air cleaning is our brush system called the Cobra. This is very easy to use, but it's very powerful as far as aggressive cleaning. So you want to add your brush to the cable, little Allen wrench. Got that on there. And your cable attaches to the rear of the Cobra. Remove the cap. And you want to install your cable. Important thing is not to cross thread this nut. Get it nice and tight. You want it tight because it'll strip out the gear inside of here if you don't. There you go, nice and tight. So the panel's very simple. You got your on-off button, you got your brush start and stop, you got your brush forward and reverse, and then you got your 4 speeds for the brush. So the remote, very much like the panel, you got your on-off button, you got your forward, reverse, and then you've got your high and low buttons as well. So it's key to get this brush up in here for about 2 feet before you even start the brush. Get it up in there, hit your start, go in your forward motion as you're going through the duct. And then hit your reverse button as you're coming back through. Push and pull method. As you're going through, you don't want to go too fast. You don't want the brush going too fast as well because it creates a lot of torque. You want it medium speed, depending on the diameter of the duct. The smaller the duct, the slower the speed. And you're coming back through, you're reversing, pulling, pushing, pulling back through. You're bringing back through. Once you get to about the 2 foot point, shut it off, and then pull it right back out. The bag setup of the Ductmaster is access to the front panel. Comes with your vacuum bag. The deflector is meant to deflect objects from puncturing the bag, so that's a very important part of the machine. The bag itself goes in sideways. Top end at the top, or the whole end at the top. Slide it down until it's snug. I'm going to fold both ends in, right on back. And as the machine generates suction, the bag's going to expand inside of it. As far as your plugs, this machine takes 2 separate 20 amp outlets. So you can plug into a GFI and then any other outlet in the house, as long as it's a non-GFI outlet. If you plug into both GFIs, it's going to trip the GFI. So it's important to have 2 separate circuits on this machine. It's remote operated, but it's also manually operated. So this would be your brush operation here if you went manual. It has 4 separate motors. You want to use all 4 motors at any one time during the cleaning. All 4 motors creates as much suction as you can get. The remote itself has your power button, has your forward reverse, then your high and low. Part of the equipment is your hose adapter. Anything other than dryer duct cleaning, you'll need that for both the red hose and the blue hose. This goes right in front. Give it a little shove. Insert the vacuum in of your hose. And then this is the device that operates the remote. So this will operate your brush. Plugs right into the top, screw that in, make sure it's nice and snug, and you're ready to go. All right, so the contact cleaning is push and pull method. What you want to do is get your brush up into the duct about 2 feet before you start. Start your power button, go in your forward direction. As you're going through, you want to just push and pull, push and pull. As you're going through, you're going to want to reverse as you're coming back out. As you get to use this machine more and more, you'll be able to feel the hose shift between the forward and reverse. So it kind of gives you an idea of which direction the brush is going. If you're coming back through or going through. Coming back through, push and pull. When you get about 2 feet from the opening, stop your machine and pull the rest of the brush out. So in cleaning the return, Pull out your filters. Now when you're doing negative air cleaning, what you're going to need to do, if you have paper filters like this, you're going to need to get a plastic bag, put them in the bag, and when you're done cleaning the return, put them back up in there. That's going to block off any of the air coming from the unit. One of the nice things about selling permanent filters, they come in a plastic bag, so before you take them out of that bag, simply put the filters up there and it's going to block the return off. So depending on the length and the diameter of the duct, that'll determine how you go about cleaning it. Oftentimes you can use the Ductmaster, the blue hose, the 2-inch hose on the Ductmaster, or you can use the Pogo plate and the Pogo pole on the Turbomax, using your Air or your Cobra. So initially the cleaning should start with a hand clean. And then from there, you're going to set up the Pogo plate and hook up your turbo. So as far as this job here, we sold them the customer filters. It's a matter of getting them out of the wrapping. And it helps to inform the customer that they need to keep these filters clean. So it's recommended that they take these out once a month, give them a good clean, and then put them back up into the return. Again, we talked about the arrow pointing up. Then another part of a good upsell are the ultra odor tubs. These will encapsulate all of the odors coming right out of the return into the system, give it a nice fresh smell. So this will actually go on top of the filter. We got your filter pointing up. Your ultra kill tub right above the return. And your second filter. Having the system on will really help out in this process. And that's it. The key to a successful dryer duct cleaning, you have to know where the dryer vent vents out to. If it has a flap, that flap has to be open. You're not going to generate any suction with that flap closed. Take your clip, it's included in the package, pop that flap open, and keep it open throughout the cleaning process. Once you finish the dryer duct cleaning, turn the dryer on, come back out to the vent, and make sure you got good flow. Take the clip off when you're done. Make sure the dryer is off before you pull the clip off, and that's all. That's it. So we're going to go through the basics of dryer duct cleaning. First of all, you want to put some a sheet or some rags underneath the feet of the dryer before you pull it out. It'll avoid scuffing the floor as well as making it easier to pull that dryer out. Now in the event that you have a gas dryer, you want to be careful not to pull it out too far because the gas line. So be careful with that. The dryer duct cleaning kit comes with the Y adapter, comes with the hose that hooks up to either your vent vac or the Ductmaster, comes with a drill powered cable, comes with a brush. The brush is not attached when you get it, but it has an Allen screw. Comes with an Allen wrench. Just attach it real snug onto the cable. The drill is not included, but it does have a drill stand. It helps to use a corded drill in this situation. What you're going to need is a drill with a switch. You're going to need to put that switch on. Hook up the foot pedal. It gives you an extra hand while you're doing this process. So you got the foot paddle connected to the drill. You've got the hose connected to the Y adapter, and you're going to be going straight through with the brush. So as you're going through, insert it first, get it in for the first couple of feet. Then back out. We're going to be getting into cutting access holes in sheet metal. Some of the basic tools that you should be using. Basic set of tin snips, fairly affordable. You have your left cuts, your center cut, and your right cut. Another convenient tool to use is the circle cutter. It cuts a nice even circle each and every time. It's fairly easy to use. Let me show you how. Get your drill. Insert it into the drill. Tighten up your chuck. So the drill bit is built in. What you want to do is make a pilot hole with the drill bit. And it has the nub. So it has your different diameters of holes that you can be cutting. Simply insert it. And go in a clockwise motion. Another great tool to use is the step bit. With the step bit, you can start your holes. So if you're going to be using a shear, corded shear, what you want to do is start your pilot hole. So we're going to be getting into cutting ductboard, cutting your excess cuts into ductboard. Think of cutting the top off of a pumpkin. What you want to do is come in at a 45-degree angle. Move your cut, pull out your patch, do your cleaning. After you're done with your cleaning, take your patch, put it right back in there, and use your metal tape to tape everything back up. We're talking about the air handler cleaning. Air handlers can be in the garage, they can be in the attic, they can be in a closet, different types of air handlers. This particular unit is an updraft, so your air is coming through the return back up through the unit. This is where your coil is. First thing you want to do on any air handler cleaning is remove power. Disconnect the power, pull the fuse, the switch, whatever the case may be. So once power is disconnected, what you want to do is pull off the front panel. So once you've disconnected power, remove the front panel. What you want to do is access the blower. Then what you want to do is vacuum out the blower area, get as much of that dirt out as you can. Nothing cleanable up here. This is where your heat pump and your heater is. Nothing cleanable here. So basically a light vacuuming. And that's basically it for that part of the air handler. Getting into the coil cleaning, what you want to do is take off the panel to the coil. Once you've removed the panels, what you want to do is access the coil. This is an A-frame coil. Typically this is the clean side. This is going to be the dirtiest part of the coil. That's the part you want to access to clean. Once you remove this panel, what you want to do is take your pump jug. Also helps, take some rags, put some rags down in here so it doesn't saturate the electrical components inside. I'm going to take your pump jug, give it a nice soak up into the coils, let it sit for a couple of minutes. Take the other pump jug that you have with water in it, give it another soak. And then what you want to take, your fin cleaning combs, and your fin straighteners, just take them in here. And then give it another soak with the water. So once you're done cleaning the coil, you want to get all of your panels back on. Make sure all your screws are nice and tight. When you're completely done with that, make sure you wipe down the cabinet. It's a nice way to impress your customer. So we're talking about the UV light and the installation of the UV light. We've got the UV light itself. It's got the bulb. Be very careful with the bulb. And you don't want to touch the bulb with your fingers, so just be very careful about that. It comes with a glove for the bulb when you get to that point. Comes with the mounting hardware. So depending on if you're installing the UV light into direct metal, you won't need this, but this is an adapter for duct board. So that's another part of it. In this installation, we're going to be going directly into metal duct. So you've got your circle cutter set at 3 inches. Start your pilot hole. Take your bulb, make sure you have your glove on. Use your Phillips bit. These are self-tapping screws. Once you have the UV light mounted, you want to plug this into a 110 or a 120 outlet. So for the condenser cleaning, what you're going to be doing is pulling the fuse, cutting power to the condenser, taking all the screws out that hold the top off, and then take your screw gun, take all of the screws out of the top, right around here, leave the fan in place. What you want to do is get your vacuum close to you so you have it at your ready. And have your hose close enough so that you can reach it. And then very carefully tip the fan back. Let's pull it up. For this particular one, that's about as much room as you're going to be able to get. Wiring harness is very short, so keep a good grip at the top. Get your vacuum. Vacuum all the dirt and debris from inside the condenser. Get your hose. Get all that dirt and debris, wash it all out of there, and then back flush the coil. So you want to get this right up against the coil there. Not a very hard stream, just enough to push all the debris out of the coil. You don't want to bend the fins on the coil. They're aluminum and they're very easy to bend. That's something you don't want to do. Once you've got all of that, the inside of it clean, gently put your top back down. You're going to have to manipulate the frame a little bit to get it back on there. And to dismount the Pogo pole and the Pogo plate, pull up on the Pogo pole, gently let it down, put it down to the ground, roll up your Mylar, and get your strap, wrap it all up, and that's it. So the VAS comes with 10 extensions. Simply screw it into the camera, add as many extensions as you need, put it up into the duct, and just feed it on in as needed. What I would recommend before you even use the fogger, fill it with some water, take it outside, and run it a few times. See exactly how much and how little you can get out of the nozzle. That'll give you a good indication of how much you're going to use in the ducts. Obviously with a bigger diameter duct, you're going to want to go with a little bit more flow. The smaller the duct, a little bit less flow. So as you're fogging, what you want to do is get your fogger up, get your hose up into the duct, get it up in there as far as you can get it, turn your fogger on, and then open up your valve. So before you put your registers back up, the thing you want to make sure you do is take all of your foam plugs out of the registers. Rule of thumb, count all your plugs before you put them back in and make sure you have that same number when you leave. And when you're putting back your registers, make sure you match up your marks. Get it back in place. Make sure everything is centered so you don't have any paint lines sticking out. And the final step, you want to pick up all your sheets and clean up after yourself. Get all your sheets out. And then final step would be to vacuum everything. then finally, you want to make sure you move everything back in its place. In this case, we move the couch. I'll move the couch back, and then you're all set. Okay, Mrs. Jones, this is just a post-clean check indicating everything that was done and that everything, the 2 AC units are set back to the proper temperatures. And if I can just get your signature at the bottom.
Sure.
And then as a final check on everything that was done. So I cleaned both of the condenser units that are outside. I cleaned both of the air handling units in the attic. I cleaned the coils. I cleaned all of your air ducts, your return ducts, cleaned the registers and the grills. And then I also sanitized the air ducts as well. And if I could just get your signature at the bottom.
Certainly.
And your grand total is at the bottom. Perfect. Great. And if I could just get your credit card number. There you go. And leave you a copy of this.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.